Hi, I'm Alan Finney, and this is what Ayahuasca told me to tell you. This is a puke bucket that's been with me in many ceremonies. But mainly now it's more of a decoration because I just don't purge much anymore. But if you're new to ayahuasca and you're worried about projectile vomiting or shitting your pants or some other god-awful thing, when you take ayahuasca, I can tell you that whatever horrible catastrophe you're thinking about, it's probably not going to happen. And I say probably because everybody's different and no two people can have the same two ceremonies. And nobody can predict what kind of a ceremony you're going to have. But generally speaking, you're not going to shit your pants, or you might not even puke, even if you want to. And that's just the typical situation that I've run into anyway. Which begs the question, why would I want to puke in an ayahuasca ceremony? And that's what today's video is all about. And the first thing is it's called purging and not just puking, because there's many ways to purge in a ceremony, which I'll get into in a bit. You're not necessarily going to throw up. And really, purging is the physical manifestation of getting rid of your toxic energy. And this toxic energy is just part of your spiritual sickness. And when I say your spiritual sickness, I mean if you're alive on this earth today, you have some degree of spiritual sickness, and some of us much more than others. It just comes with the territory. There's no avoiding it. I've got it, you've got it. Everybody is spiritually sick in some manner or another. The big question is, what do you want to do about it? And purging is like a lot of things about ayahuasca, especially for someone who's new to it. Things are not what they seem. You're actually going to welcome a purge in a ceremony, and I've seen this time and time again. And people will actually congratulate you on a purge, especially if you've had a good one, because they understand what it is you've accomplished. So in a ceremony, what will probably happen is that you're going to feel some of this nasty ass energy in yourself and someplace in your body, and you're going to want to get it out. And hopefully you'll just purge it out if everything goes well. And for the most part, you're just going to purge for a few minutes in a ceremony, and that will be the end of it. And here's the thing about the purge itself. There's actually a lot of different ways to purge in a ceremony, and that's why I don't just say you're gonna puke. It's not necessarily puking or, sitting on the toilet, going to the toilet. And purging is one of those things where, there might be some short-term pain, but there's some real long-term gain. And really, when you feel that dense, dark energy and you understand that you've been carrying that around for, forever, for your whole life, and that you can get rid of it for good, like gone, like it was never there in the first place, a few minutes of purging is the bargain of the century, really. So when you actually think about it, purging is actually one of the big rewards of doing an ayahuasca ceremony, if you want to look at it that way. It's just a big weight off your shoulders. You're light, you're clear. That's the reward. And the other thing is that purging can be a lot of things besides puking. Yawning, crying, the ass purge, that's what I do. I purge out the other end. Moaning, screaming, sweating, or you'll feel like you're incredibly hot for a while. And really what purging is the physical aspect or the physical manifestation of a spiritual cleanse. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Physical manifestation of a spiritual cleanse. That's wow, I'm going to save that one for later. But anyway, for a lot of people who are just trying to understand this medicine, it's, like I can't or I don't want to puke. And that's that. And so an ayahuasca ceremony is out of the question. And really, a lot of this is based on fear. They're afraid they're going to shit their pants or embarrass themselves in a ceremony. And I've heard of people doing that, but I've never actually seen anyone shit their pants in any of the ceremonies I've been to. So don't worry about it. So the big question is, why is it that we even need to purge in a ceremony? Can't ayahuasca just get rid of that energy without purging? And it's true. I mean, it can happen, and I'll give you a little story about that. But and ayahuasca can do a lot of things. But as I've said in other videos, the medicine really works with your cooperation and your permission. And this is an essential part of the ceremony. It's a cooperative venture, for lack of a better term. I can't remind people enough about that. You need to cooperate with her to get the benefits. And purging is just one of those things. But to answer that question, yes, ayahuasca can work with you without you actually physically purging. I remember one ceremony in particular where I was feeling this energy coming up from deep in my solar plexus or my bowels, and it would get up about to the level of my stomach, and then I'd kind of like cough like that, and then the whole process would start all over again. And this was taking a long time for those little things to get up there. And, there was a never-ending supply of this stuff. So then ayahuasca just went like, this is way too slow. And it was just like a lay down. And she just started pulling that energy out directly. And I was just laying there enjoying it. It was so much fun. I was looking around and this stuff is leaving and you're getting lighter and more clear. And that was pretty cool. So anyway, we're back to the, never mind the war stories. Let's get back to the purging. So anyway, where's all this energy going to wind up? Well, one of the places you really want it to wind up is in the puke bucket. And really, throwing up in a ceremony is not like throwing up when you're sick or after you've drank too much or something. Let me lay out the scenario for you. You're in an ayahuasca ceremony and you become aware of this just dark, heavy energy that you've been, feels like toxic or like an oil slick or, I don't know, like a painful feeling. And you just know that it's something that it's heavy and you just want it out. You really do. You're going to want to get rid of this. And when you purge that out, it's such a relief. It's like the weight of the world's been lifted off your shoulders. And like I said, there's lots of ways to purge. My daughter gets this oil on her skin, and that's just the energy getting thrown out as well. And she just has a shower after the ceremony. So really, it doesn't matter how you purge. And the only way to find out how you're going to purge is to get to a ceremony and see for yourself. So let's look at purging from a spiritual sense. And one of the ways of looking at it is that purging is getting rid of the energy that's incompatible with a deep spiritual experience. So once you get rid of that energy, you're more capable of having that deeper spiritual experience, or, put it whatever terms you want, accessing the quantum field or the connectedness of everything, whatever you're comfortable calling it, but you're able to go deeper into that whole process. I remember one ceremony in particular, I was shown this dark black energy, for lack of a better term, and it was wrapped around my digestive system. And that was from all the alcohol and drugs and junk food or whatever other low vibrational crud I was putting in my body. And she asked me, well, do you want to get rid of that? And it's like, yeah, let's do that. So away we went, and that was just amazing. And since then I've never really craved any of that low vibrational stuff. I mean, I quit drinking 30 years ago, but that energy was still residing in there, and it's still working on you, and now it's just gone, and it's beautiful. So just in the whole process, a lot of the purging seems to take place in your first ceremony. So as you throw off that dense energy and get it out of your system, you'll get more comfortable as the ceremonies progress and probably purge less, or maybe you'll purge more. I don't know. I don't know what you're dealing with. But I do know that sometimes it can take several ceremonies before you're going to get to that one big purge that you're looking for. And those ceremonies are really ayahuasca getting you ready for that, what a lot of people call a breakthrough ceremony. And you can feel it coming, and then, like, for whatever reason, maybe you only had a specific number of ceremonies at that retreat, or anyway, you don't get to that last big purge. But, that will happen at some point. And, the thing with working with ayahuasca and the whole process, you always start again where you left off the last time that you did ayahuasca. Because really, this medicine is, like I say, it's a process, and it's not a miracle. And I really can't stress that enough. You make progress as you do more ceremonies. It doesn't all happen at once. It can't all happen at once. You can make a lot of progress in a single ceremony, but you can't do it all. So anyway, happy purging to you, and I'm wishing you all the light and happiness and love in the world. And I truly hope you find what it is you're looking for, and whether that's ayahuasca or something else. Ayahuasca is one way of getting where you need to be or where you want to be, but it's not the only way, that's for sure. But it works for me. I'm Alan Finney, and this is what ayahuasca told me to tell you.